welcome back to my channel, The You in Fashion. My name's Megan. On my channel we discuss fashion, luxury, handbags, and lifestyle. So if you're interested in any of those topics, please like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit that notifications bell down below so you don't miss any of my content. So if you've watched my other videos, you will know that I was able to score my Birkin 25 in the tan color here in Paris, and I wanted to do a video today of just my top 5 tips on scoring a handbag in Paris. This is from my personal experience there and also from all of the research that I have done leading up to this point. So I hope that it's helpful. As we know, there is no algorithm to make this work out perfectly, but here's what I found worked out best for me. So we are going to go ahead and start with tip number 1. And tip number 1 is to have a purchase history in Europe. I would say ideally in Paris, within those 3 stores that they have there. So it was actually interesting because in my last video, or one of my previous videos, one of the comments below on a viewer was saying that she was actually successful twice, and she said she really recommended the biggest thing to being chosen on their online system is to have a purchase history in Paris or in Europe. And I wholeheartedly agree. So if you guys watched my last video, I guess that would have been 2 videos ago, I'll go ahead and link it here, but I mentioned that I bought my sneakers the very first day I arrived in Paris, and that was because I had done research that basically said you want to go in and initially purchase an item to establish purchase history in Paris, because prior to that point I had none. So I did. On the very first day I went in, I bought my sneakers, so check out that video if you haven't already. But I feel like that really does help. It helps to put a name to a computer system. Basically, we know that it is a lottery system, so I kind of hinted on this in the last video as well, but because it's a lottery, they likely have some way of filtering and choosing people, and I really feel like having a purchase history will help kind of do that computer program and hopefully get your name at least on the radar, as to say, to be chosen if you have a purchase history within one of those boutiques. Second tip of importance, in my opinion, is to, if you have something from the brand, wear it in. I really do think they take note of that. So I, for instance, would have worn my Oran sandals that I purchased because I wanted them to know that I had shopped with the brand, and I researched that a lot. You want them to believe, of course, that you have been shopping with the brand in your home country, and also that, you know, you are familiar with the brand, you're familiar with how the brand aesthetic is. So definitely I researched, and I also believe that if you have something that you've already purchased at your local Hermes boutique, or just Hermes in general, if you have something, definitely wear it into the store. I do feel like they're making note of that, and oftentimes will comment, especially if you have an Hermes handbag, comment on that bag as well. So that rounds up the second tip. If you have Hermes items, wear them to the store. Third tip would be nice, and I know that that is a funny tip, right? Because we all know that just human nature, we want to do unto others as we want them to do unto us. I mean, old school saying, right? Forever, but it truly is true. So when I went in there, I originally purchased the shoes. Me and that sales associate really hit it off. She was very kind, offered to walk me downstairs and introduce me to the leather goods department. She then asked about any appointments. Of course, they said no at the time, but even with them saying, no, we don't have any appointments, I thanked them for the time, went on about the rest of my day. And then every time that I went in thereafter, I would ask, do you guys have any appointments available? Is there a way to make an appointment for later? Even when their response was not what I wanted, which was, no, we don't have the ability or the capability to do any of that. You'll have to strictly apply through an online system. Every time I thanked them for their time, that I appreciated them letting me know, you know, I didn't go into why I deserved an appointment or why I thought they should give me an appointment. I just said, okay, thank you for letting me know. And I moved on about my day. I tried to be the least harassing as possible, to be in there every single day. But I feel like that is a big tip that we generally ignore. I feel like that we have to remember, create a conversation with these people. Create a letting them know that, you know, I know that this is your job. So if you don't have anything available for me or any appointments available, like, that's okay. Thank you for taking the time out, and I'll see you guys again soon. So best advice, be yourself, be nice, be kind, thank them even if it's not the answer that you want to hear, because I really do think they are observing all of these things. And you guys know from my very first video, it truly made a difference in my case. The same person that I would ask every single day and thanked for their time, regardless of the answer every single day, was the exact same person that offered me the handbag. So you just never know who you're going to come into contact with and when it's going to be important. So definitely be nice, be kind, be polite, all of the things that we've been taught our entire lives, right? So let's go ahead and move on to the fourth tip. So my fourth tip would be familiar with what color and hardware and leather you're interested in when you go to your appointment. And I feel like when we're going to these appointments, we've already done this, right? Like, you guys know I did months and months and months on research of the hardware, of the leathers, of the colors. So when I went in, I had a very specific, mine was the size and also the color that I wanted. So I wanted a 25 or a 30 size, and I wanted the color like a darker neutral. So a tan, a taupe, noir, those were the idea that I gave him. I told him I wasn't too specific on the hardware, so I feel like that was something that he was a little bit able to have some leeway on, and I think that that matters as well. So you want to be specific enough so that you're not like, I'll just take anything, and they're back there like, I don't even really know what she wants, what size she wants, what color she wants. But I also feel like it's important not to be too specific, because they may not have that specifically what you're looking for in the store at that time. So I personally think it's great to give them like a color range, a size range, and even if hardware is important to you, include that as well, but just trying to make sure that you give them enough range to work with. So that is definitely my next tip. Do your research, know what colors you have in mind, know what size you have in mind when you are presented at the appointment, because they are asking and they are looking and they are doing their best to match what you give them. So try to give them an easier time by truly knowing what you want, would be my best advice here. My fifth and final point would be definitely put yourself together in an aesthetic that Hermes would like. And I know that that sounds very, I don't know how I would even describe it. That's why I made it number 5, because I feel like it's so difficult to truly find out what that aesthetic is and for them to judge you. I mean, all of this is, they are making the decision of whether or not to give you a handbag. So ideally, you would check off things to make it more and more able for them to make that decision that it should be you. So I discussed earlier in this conversation, one, as far as wearing something of an Hermes brand into the store, and I feel like this kind of feeds into that as well. So you want them to believe, of course, that you've done shopping at the Hermes store before. So I feel like where I was really fortunate was that I had researched it a lot and gone to different locations, specifically the New York store. If you haven't watched that video, watch it next. But within that, I was able to see kind of even within different regions, how people dress to go into the Hermes store. Now, you guys know that I am local to Atlanta, so it's interesting because our Atlanta store, from what I find, isn't really that particular as far as when I see people come in necessarily what they're wearing. I would say, interestingly, they're surprisingly casual here for my Hermes store. I would say oftentimes jeans, t-shirts even. I've seen people come in little like jumpsuits that are super cute, but nothing to when I went to New York and Paris, kind of what I observed, which I think is really interesting. So in both of those regions, what I found was that people did do very monochromatic looks. So all blacks, all creams, all browns. You guys know this if you've watched any of my videos before. I've said this, so I won't harp too much on that. But the trick is making them feel like you belong in the store. And I would feel like a good thing if you don't know what to wear. I feel like you can't go wrong with all black, all creams, all browns, something very monochromatic to wear into the store. I also hinted on this as far as makeup. What I noticed was, for the most part, it was very natural looking makeup, nothing too out of the box, nothing too bam in your face, but definitely making your makeup presentable. And I would definitely hair done, hair looking nice, makeup looking nice, and of course, clothing that matches the aesthetic. But other than that, those are my top 5 tips for the Hermes store there in Paris. And I hope that you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions, as always, let me know. I'll be glad to answer them. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.